Macdonald senior speech. We would like to welcome her special guests who are with us today, her mother Anna, her boyfriend Sam Clark, and Sam's mother Sarah is also here. Thank you all for coming. Charlotte's been a student at Augusta Prep since the 9th grade, and I've had the pleasure of experiencing her wit and humor in class and out of class for several years. She's the co-founder and president of the Cheese Club, as well as the president of the Astronomy Club. Charlotte is also a member of our varsity cheerleading squad and our thespian society. If she's not busy here at Prep, you will probably find her in Aiken riding her horses. As you can tell, Charlotte has a passion for cheese in all forms. There's a very deep history that can be explored from the many types, flavors, and smells of cheese. There's even a wide array of ways to properly cut cheese. I'm very sure that this speech is going to blow you away. Please welcome Charlotte to the stage.
Thank you, Mr. Goblin, for the amazing introduction and for not failing me in stats so far. Before I start my speech, I would like to thank my mom for always being there and being one of my best friends. I'd also like to thank my boyfriend Sam, who's had to listen to me stress about the speech quite a lot. And also shout out to my brother and dad who will watch this later on YouTube because they're a couple states away. But most importantly, I would like to thank my amazing teachers and friends. I couldn't have made it through 4 years of high school without you. Now, lost the clicker. Now, I'd like to relax and allow you, there you go, to sit back and relax while I tell about the history of cheese. The origins of cheese started with the domestication of milk-producing animals around 8 to 10,000 years ago. Early cheese was mainly made from sheep's milk. There's also mentions of cheese in Greek mythology, and mentions of cheese making have been found on Egyptian tomb murals. Around 100 BC, cheese making had become widely spread throughout the Roman Empire. During Julius Caesar's reign, there were hundreds of varieties of cheese being made. In 1615, cheese was introduced to Asia. Although cheese is not a staple in Asian food and culture, there is evidence of a cheese called Rushan that has been produced since the time of the Ming Dynasty. English Puritan dairy farmers introduced cheese to America in the 17th century, and it became popular, especially in the northern part of the country. Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Massachusetts became very popular for cheese baking and provided cheese to the growing colonies. Today, cheese is mass-produced all throughout the world, and there are even clubs you can join. Cheese Club. Who cut the cheese? See what I did there? Speaking of cutting the cheese, my senior speech is actually about the science behind flatulence. Or, in the words of Nat Lemire, quote, oh, like flat earthers? But if your mom didn't tell you that, contrary to Nat's belief, flatulence actually refers to the passing of gas, farting, not flat earthers. Sorry, Nat. Now, I promised Mr. Kennedy I would actually include some science, not just jokes, so let's dive right in. Why do we fart? Simply it's all because we have gas that's in our intestines and we need to expel that gas, which leads to a fart. A little fun fact is that when we pass gas, our bodies have nerve endings which allow us to determine gas from, well, poop, so you can pass gas with ease, unless you're Benji Connell. So what is a fart composed of and how does it get there? A fart is mainly made of hydrogen and carbon dioxide and trace amounts of other gases. A small amount of air gets swallowed and makes it to the intestine, which can cause gas. However, a fart is mainly produced by bacteria in our guts that helps us digest our foods. This gas is expelled by burping and farting. So basically, a burp is just a fart from our mouth. Aristotle, I think, maybe Plato. We all know that eggy smell we associate with farts, and most people know that that smell is due to sulfur. But how does it get there? A strong sulfur smell may be due to a bacteria buildup. During digestion, your gut bacteria produces sulfur-containing compounds, like hydrogen sulfide, that can create a stench in your gas. Another reason may be eating too many high-fiber fruits. Fiber is a carb found in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains that your body cannot fully digest. Fiber can aid in digestion and help regulate your bowel movements, but too much of it can make you produce too much gas. Pro tip, don't eat an entire box of apricot for more physics. A common misconception about flatulence is that you can hold in a fart, but you can't. If you squeeze really, 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 really hard, that fart is still gonna come out, just slower. If you try to hold it in one too many times, you may start to experience bloating and pain. You may be asking, why do I fart more than others, and how do I stop doing it? Well, most of the time, the passing of gas has to do with diet more than anything else. For instance, foods like the ones listed on the screen will cause you more gas than normal. We all know the song, beans, beans, a musical fruit, the more you eat, the more you toot. Well, this funny song actually holds some science. Beans contain a complex sugar called raffinose, which the body has trouble digesting. When the sugar passes through the small intestine into the large intestine, it breaks down, producing hydrogen, carbon dioxide, and methane. Dairy products can also cause excess gas due to lactose. People who don't produce enough of the enzyme lactase will have difficulty digesting the lactose, or as we like to call it, lactose intolerance. Whole grains are another one of those foods that also contain raffinose, as well as fiber and starch. As mentioned before, these are not easily digested and can cause gas. However, how much gas you pass will vary depending on your individual tolerance. Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cabbage, asparagus, and cauliflower are all known as cruciferous vegetables. Again, like beans and other foods, these vegetables contain raffinose and are also high in fiber, which will lead to gas. Although these foods are known to cause gas, and people may shy away from them because of that fact, they're also extremely healthy, so you might want to talk to a doctor before you eliminate them from your diet completely. We all burp when we drink highly carbonated drinks like soda, but soda can significantly add to the amount of air you swallow when you drink it. So that gas has to come out one way or the other. Fruits contain the natural sugar fructose and the sugar alcohol sorbitol, which the body, again, has trouble digesting. Examples of this include apples, peaches, pears, and prunes. Many fruits also contain soluble fiber, which dissolves in water. Both sorbitol and soluble fiber must pass through the large intestines where bacteria breaks them down to create hydrogen, carbon dioxide, and methane. Like cruciferous vegetables, these foods should not be completely eliminated from your diet. Moderation is key with a lot of these foods. Onions contain compounds called fructans. Fructans are oligosaccharides made up of fructose and glucose molecules. Bacteria in the large intestine can ferment fructans, causing excess gas. It's no secret that ultra-processed foods are bad for you. They also contain a variety of ingredients, including fructose and lactose, which will lead to increased gas production. So you're probably wondering, Charlotte, what can I eat that won't make me gassy? Well, foods that contain fat and protein may cause little gas, including meat, poultry, fish, eggs, vegetables such as lettuce, tomato, zucchini, and okra, and fruits like cantaloupe, grapes, berries, avocados, and olives. The key takeaway from the slide should be that it's normal to pass gas after consuming some foods or liquids, but certain foods may cause you to pass excess gas, and that's normal. Now, turning away from the science behind farts and more towards the history of farts. Yep, history of farts, I know. Now, during my research, I stumbled onto a Roman god of flatulence, so obviously I had to dive a little deeper. This god is called Crepitus, not Crepitus, Crepitus. Although it must be noted that there's no actual proof that this was a worshipped deity, I do encourage you guys to look up a list of minor Roman gods because there's a lot of them, so maybe it was real. However, many people believe that the Crepitus was a joke created by Christians. Crepitus does appear in French literature, like the book La Tentation de Saint Antoine, or The Temptation of Saint Anthony by Gustave Flaubert. In the story, Saint Anthony is left in the wilderness to seek God, and during his stay he has faced temptation in the forms of beautiful women and demonic creatures. Mentions of flatulence in literature and history have been around for quite some time. These mentions evolved to become insults. For instance, someone uncivilized as a cheek or as a bum, they behave like an artist or fart around. To be wasteful, talentless, worthless in the arts is to be arty-farty. We've learned to associate physical incontinence with moral or social incontinence. However, the act of farting is also used as humor. Around 1641 and 1660, when Puritan influence and ideas were strong, there was a decline in arts and music. John Playford was a musician who, despite the strict morals imposed by Puritans, included things like farts that Puritans deemed ungodly into his songs. Farting is a form of misogyny. Yeah, you heard that right. Thomas Durfee was another musician who was known for his body use and poor taste, as well as his flamboyance and living beyond his means. In Durfee's works, women are often seen as objects for sexual desire or objects on pedestals because of their looks. The only way these women could break from these stereotypes was as a farter. A fart being seen as something gross and nasty would contrast the typical societal view of women at the time, allowing them to escape society's stereotypes. Farting was also used in artwork to cause the viewer to essentially be grossed out by the person farting, and this could be used as a political tactic. For instance, Martin Luther, during the decline of the Catholic Church, commissioned artists to create illustrated woodcuts in support of the values of the Protestant Reformation. Little Euro fact right there. One woodcut depicts two Germans farting at the Pope and his papal bull. The In the medieval bestiary, farting can be found as a defensive weapon in nature. The bonacon was a creature with the mane of a horse and the body of a bull. It was believed to live in the mountains of present-day Macedonia. According to Pliny the Elder in writings from the 1st century, the bonacon has horns that, quote, curve back so that they're useless for fighting. So for defense mechanisms, it instead fired a thick dung over large distances to keep predators away. Mind you, it was like probably a skunk and they just didn't have glasses, but I like to think that the bonacon was real. Before I end my speech, I would like to leave the senior class and everyone in this room with a message. No, it's not about farting. Shocking, I know. My message to the senior class is to go out and have fun and do what makes you happy, whether that's making your senior speech about farts or spending your entire paycheck on Chipotle. In my 17 years on the earth, I found that the most important thing for me is to just be happy. Find joy in all the little things, especially as our senior year comes to an end. We only get to do this once. Have fun and stay happy. Thank you.